Greetings, Stalkers! As a fan of the Stalker series since its earliest days, I've spent hundreds of hours in the zone. I still remember the trembling hands with which I opened my first stash in Shadow of Chernobyl, and the heart-stopping moments as I followed the storyline in Clear Sky and Call of Pripyat. And now, Stalker 2 is finally here, a game we've been waiting for more than a decade. By the way, it topped the list of the most anticipated games of November on Steam, but has it lived up to expectations? Let's find out. The game is available on Game Pass and was released exclusively for PC and Xbox. However, the exclusivity agreement with Xbox lasts only 3 months, after which nothing will prevent the game from being released on PlayStation. Let's dive into the review already. There's so much to talk about. New locations, mutants, artifacts, but we'll take it one step at a time. Stalker 2 is not a direct continuation of the previous installments and tells a new story, making it accessible to players who are unfamiliar with the series. The action takes place in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. The main character is Skiff, a newcomer who enters the zone in the present day in search of artifacts. Completing the main story of Stalker 2 will take around 40 hours, and with all the side quests, you can expect to spend over 100 hours in total. However, you won't be able to see all the content in one playthrough. The game features 3 possible endings, although it was initially said there would be 4, and side quests play a crucial role in the narrative, directly affecting the main quest. You will determine the development of the story by choosing between aggression, stealth, or negotiation. Every decision you make can have unexpected consequences. For example, in one of the missions, if you search the corpse of an NPC ally, they may suddenly end the quest and withhold your reward. It's impossible to fully repeat a playthrough. Depending on your choices, new characters and quests will become available. Even a small side quest can turn into a more complex and significant story. For the fans, there are plenty of Easter eggs in the game, including locations and familiar characters such as Streetlock, which makes the story even more engaging for longtime series enthusiasts. The size of the game world is truly impressive, spanning a full 64 square kilometers. For comparison, the land area in GTA 5 is just 48 square kilometers. This makes the world of Stalker 2 one of the largest in the gaming industry. Almost every element of the world is handcrafted by the developers, which adds a unique touch to each location and preserves the spirit of the series, known for its unconventional, memorable places that fans have cherished for years. Additionally, the zone is now seamless. There are no loading screens between locations, allowing you to explore the world without any restrictions. The Stalker 2 map is essentially a combination of 3 maps from the previous games, with a new section added. In total, it consists of 20 locations. Here's the full list. Pause the video if you'd like to read it more carefully. We can visit familiar locations like the bar, Yanov, the Rookie Village, and many others. However, their relative positions have changed. For example, Zatan has moved closer to the swamps. Overall, the entire Stalker world has been reworked. While the locations remain canonical, bringing plenty of nostalgia and Easter eggs, there are noticeable geographical changes. The developers clearly aim to maintain continuity without radically altering locations, instead enriching the old ones. For instance, the village of Kapachi, which originally looked like this, is easily recognizable in the new game by its excavator and the general layout of the houses. While the village has been relocated, its appearance remains largely the same, though now it's much more detailed and visually stunning. The locations are also larger and more open for exploration. For example, in Call of Pripyat, only the first district of Pripyat was accessible for exploration. Now, the second and third districts, along with the northern part of the city, are open as well. By the way, the zone in Stalker has become greener compared to previous games. The developers added more grass and increased the density of trees, made possible thanks to modern technology. Verticality has also been significantly improved. While in the old games you could climb onto rooftops or explore tall buildings, there are now far more opportunities for this. This is particularly evident in Pripyat, where the number of structures open for exploration has greatly increased. You can investigate rooftops, the interiors of high-rise buildings, and various hidden corners, uncovering Easter eggs and stashes. This also opens up new tactical options, such as attacking enemies from above or finding unexpected routes to outmaneuver them. As a result, the map feels much more expansive and dynamic. The most exciting part, though, is the planned DLC. I'm eagerly anticipating locations like Cold Island, Limansk, and Sand Plateau. Now, all the places we wanted to visit in the original games but couldn't will finally be accessible in Stalker 2. One of these is the church in the swamps. In summary, it's the same good old zone, just now even more open and vast. And the best part is that all the locations have retained the spirit of the originals, their recognizability, atmosphere, and nostalgic Easter eggs. In addition to the familiar artifacts, now redesigned like Mom's Beads, Kolobok, and Soul, the game introduces new artifacts. Stoneheart increases carrying capacity, allowing you to carry more loot. Magic Cube reduces the impact of explosive waves and kinetic strikes. Artifacts can now be inspected in your hands and rotated to view them from different angles. Artifact characteristics are now described with words, weak, medium, strong, instead of the numerical values used previously. Detectors for finding artifacts have returned, both the familiar ones like Echo, Bear, Veles, and Svarog, as well as a new one, Gilka-01. New anomalies have also appeared, some of which are useful, such as Pillow, which allows you to jump from a height without taking damage. Another interesting addition to the game is psi radiation. It accumulates from psi beacons and causes hallucinations. There are 35 types of weapons available, with the ability to modify them on the fly without needing to enter the inventory, making combat more dynamic. You can easily equip a suppressor, sight, or additional magazine as the situation demands. Weapons can now be customized with camouflage patterns, and as before, you can upgrade them with technicians, such as those found in Yanov. The game features over 4 new types of weapons. Some of the unique models include the PP Chris Vector, with a fire rate of over 1,000 rounds per minute, the DP-12 double-barrel shotgun, and the Ukrainian Vulcan assault rifle. Across the world, you can find stashes containing rare weapon modifications or even unique firearms. This encourages you to venture into places that an ordinary person would avoid. Each shot now takes into account numerous factors such as distance, wind speed, weapon type, and the target's armor. This makes battles more tactically rich and gunfights truly challenging. One missed shot can end the fight, either for you or your enemy. As before, each weapon has a lifespan. It can break or jam during combat if you haven't repaired it in a while. But you can visit a specialist to fix your favorite weapon. You need to think about your ammunition when heading out on an expedition. For example, there are standard rounds and more powerful ones. However, these powerful rounds will wear down your weapon much faster, and it may jam at the most inconvenient moment. It's also wise to use different types of ammo for different enemies. Against armored foes, for instance, armor-piercing rounds are more effective. Resource management, such as food and ammunition, plays a crucial role in survival. Hunger has become a more significant threat than in the original trilogy. It not only directly damages health, but also reduces stamina and hinders aiming accuracy. Prolonged lack of sleep will also have its consequences. The protagonist will begin to tire, vision will deteriorate, and sometimes even auditory hallucinations will occur. You also need to monitor the condition of your gear. It wears out faster than in previous versions. During combat, you lose resources such as food, ammo, and medkits. However, after a fight, you can loot bodies and camps to replenish your supplies. The inventory system, while retaining the familiar grid layout, now works faster and more intuitively. Now even the weather in the zone affects gameplay. Lightning can strike both enemies and you. The game also features the A-Life 2.0 system, which simulates life in the zone. Events happen in the background, and you can witness the aftermath of battles, such as shootouts or fights with mutants. These events can occur within your line of sight or beyond it. Some factions and mutants defend their territories, while others wander the map, adding to the sense of an unpredictable living world. Combined with the stunning sound design, every footstep, rustling grass, and distant noise of the zone immerses you even deeper into the game's atmosphere. Artificial intelligence has become significantly smarter. Enemies act cohesively and aggressively, making it much harder to hide and wait out the danger. They analyze their surroundings, search for alternative routes, try to flank you, and adapt to your playstyle. Unlike previous games, where you could escape enemies by loading into a new section of the map, here factions and mutants can pursue you across the seamless world. The game offers 3 difficulty levels, where even the normal setting is quite challenging. For hardcore players, there's a mode with a minimal interface. The game includes both autosave and manual save options, allowing you to save at any time. The game features both new mutants and familiar ones, pseudo-dogs, bloodsuckers, and controllers. Some of them have undergone visual changes and gained new abilities. Bloodsuckers can now knock players down with their attacks, while Poltergeists can defend themselves by creating shrapnel barriers that block bullets. Among the new mutants are Psi Deer, capable of attacking you with psi emissions and creating clones that strike with their antlers and hooves, and the Bayun Cat, which lures you in by mimicking the voices of wounded stalkers. As demonstrated with the boar, monsters of the same species will visually differ depending on their habitat. New factions have appeared. Nichaz, a sub-faction of the Scientists. Spark, created by the mercenary Scar, the main character from Stalker Clear Sky. Noon, former members of the Monolith faction. Arta, the self-proclaimed Zone Police. MSOP, the International Perimeter Security Organization, professionals from different countries. Varta, a new group with serious financial backing. And the familiar ones, bandits, loners, duty, freedom, military, and scientists. I'd love to delve deeper into the factions, but I'll save that for the next review, which will be specifically tailored for fans of the Stalker universe. The game has quite high system requirements, even on the lowest settings. Keep in mind, you'll need about 160 GB of free disk space, regardless of the graphics quality. Stalker natively supports mods on PC and Xbox Series. A multiplayer mode is set to launch in the near future. To conclude, I'd like to share my thoughts on whether Stalker 2 met my expectations. First off, I was really impressed by the game world. It's vast and remains open, with no linearity. The history of the zone hasn't been disrupted, and the new storyline blends seamlessly with the old lore. The game itself is quite challenging, which adds value to every victory. By the way, it feels like navigating through the anomaly zones has become more difficult, and protective gear wears out much faster. I was especially delighted by the numerous Easter eggs, with the most enjoyable one being spending time with other stalkers around the campfire, listening to their stories and the strumming of guitars. It brought back those unforgettable feelings from the older games. But what impressed me the most was the realistic atmosphere of the zone. There were times when I genuinely felt uneasy, running through the dense forests of the new locations, with eerie mutant howls echoing all around me. As a longtime fan of the Stalker series, I can say that this is exactly the Stalker I've been waiting for. I believe the game has preserved all the key elements that we love about the series: the atmosphere, exploration, and tactical combat. See you in the zone!